off yet.
You're listening to the Holy Joe Rock and Roll Show. It's not just rock and roll, it's Holy Joe Rock and Roll.
Hey everybody, this is Holy Joe Rock and Roll. It is, Monday, April 30th, 2018. Just got through listening to Israel's President Netanyahu talking about the Iran deal and supposedly providing evidence that the Iranians have been cheating. So, in typical fashion, Netanyahu shows what 50,000 documents and 100,000 DVDs full of information that supposedly was taken from the Iranians. Michael, are we up? Are we good? Michael, are we up? Are we good?
I didn't get a notification. Nothing.
So he shows this bookshelf here of stuff, claiming that this is the same stuff that they copies of the exact stuff that they got from the Iranians. Okay, hashtag no more wars for Israel. Okay, Netanyahu has been talking this same talk for over 20 years now. You can go on YouTube and you can just type in Netanyahu, not N-E-T. Well, actually, it is almost Net and Yahoo, but Y-A-H-U, Netanyahu. I was spelling differently as a joke, Netanyahu. But okay, but if you type it in, you can see him back in before the first Gulf War, talking about Iran is going to have a nuclear bomb in like 6 months. And that's over 20 years ago, 22 years ago, maybe exactly 20 years ago. Now, for whatever reason, Iran seems to be Israel's nemesis. You know, right? They're major competitor in the region, and it's funny because I believe it was Nebuchadnezzar, whoever the second after the Jews were taken to Babylon, then they were freed by the Persians. The Persians, who are the predecessors to the Iranians, they're the same people, let the Jews go back to Israel to build the second temple. So I thought they were on good terms, right? And there's actually about 20,000 Israeli Jews. There's 20,000 Jews, Iranian Jews. So Jews that are Iranian, okay? And they look Iranian for the most part, okay? I mean, you couldn't tell the difference. They don't look like Jews, okay? What does a Jew look like, anyhow? But I'm saying they don't look like Turkic white Jews. They look Iranian. So, and they're having a good time there. The Jews don't want to leave. Israel has offered these Jews to come back to Israel, come to Israel. You know, it would offer them, money and land, of course, in occupied territory, to come. And most of them, for the most part, don't want to leave Iran because, look, I'm no fan of Iran. Okay, I don't even like their food. I don't even know anything about their food really, except that the one guy, he made this rice with these red berries, these red beans, and it was alright. It was alright, nothing special. But whatever, I digress. The point is, here is Netanyahu talking up war again and trying to get America involved. And hashtag no more wars for Israel has to be the theme. Okay? Whether or not Iran is building a nuclear weapon or not, why didn't Netanyahu discuss Israel's nuclear program? It's been secret, and some people even suspect that JFK was assassinated because he was opposed and he was actively blocking Israel from getting a nuclear bomb. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, okay? Some people say it was the Cubans because of the Bay of Missiles. They try to say it was the Russians because of the Cuban Missile Crisis. I think it was the Jews because JFK didn't want the Jews to have a nuclear bomb. And he also printed what? The silver certificates, actively going against the Jewish-controlled Federal Reserve. Think about that. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, because the real truth is going to come out eventually. Hashtag Jewish Revolutionary Spirit. Kudos to E. Michael Jones for writing that book and exposing the big lie. Now, getting back on track here, I just want to alert you, you may have to write your congressman, call your congresspeople, and even call Donald J. Trump or call the White House and say, listen, hashtag no more wars for Israel. If Iran is not keeping its promises in regards to the nuclear bomb program, maybe we're going to fire some missiles at them, but I sure as hell am not sending my kids, I sure as hell am not personally volunteering to go to the Middle East again and fighting wars for Israel, because the only country that would benefit from this is Israel. Now, if you think about it, again, not a friend of Iran, but compared to Saudi Arabia, it's a huge difference, okay, in terms of the culture and the history of these two different peoples. I mean, the Arabians have been goat herders for the last 2,000 years. Okay, until they discovered oil, they were goat herders and oyster farmers and sheep fuckers, as far as I can tell. Iranians have an ancient history of poetry, of literature, of science. They were the magi. They were the people who came to see Jesus Christ. They followed the star. They were wise men, the Persians. Okay, so it's a huge difference if you think about that as a culture. Now, I don't know how we became the enemies of Iran or vice versa. I know it goes back to the Shah of Iran, the toppling of the Shah, and the Ayatollah Khomeini. It pissed me off that they took these Americans hostage for 444 days in 1979 or 78, actually 1978. It ended when, on the day that Ronald Reagan was inaugurated, the Iranians released the hostages because they knew that Reagan would F them up. Okay? So, what can I say, man? You know, if Israel wants to fight Iran, I say knock yourselves out. It's time for the Jews to get their hands dirty and do some dirty work, some real dirty work, besides just spying, doing espionage, and telling stories, okay, and reading the Talmud. It's time for them to do their own dirty work. If they really believe that Iran is a threat, go ahead, knock yourselves out. Do your dirty work yourselves, because me and my people are not for this war. And you know, I never thought there would be a war in the past, right? I saw all the talk and all the nonsense, especially after we invaded Iraq. There was also a build-up and a lot of talk about going to Iran in the after we went into Iraq. But I didn't take it seriously because, look, we're pretty much overextended. It's not working in Iraq. What's the point of going to Iran unless we're just going to level the place and leave? But again, what's the point of that? So again, in this case here, I always believed that the Iranians were trying to build a bomb. It looks like they, what I've seen, what Netanyahu showed is stuff that you can find on the internet. Okay, prototypes to a bomb. Concepts based upon what people know about how the early bombs were made, you know, the geometrical shapes, this kind of stuff. Obviously, the centrifuges, which are used to concentrate uranium to make it bomb quality uranium, that's significant. It doesn't necessarily have to be refined to bomb quality. It could be also used for other purposes, but that's neither here nor there. If I read like the first 30 pages of this 158-page Iran nuclear deal, and it's like so freaking repetitive. It is one of the worst deals written. It is so ridiculous. You know, I don't know how many times I read the paragraph, stating the same stuff over and over again, almost to the point of nausea, right? That regardless of blah, 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 Iran will never do this or will no longer do that. And it just repeated itself. You can download the deal. Google it. You can download the Iranian deal. Read it for yourself if you can stand it. But, you know, after the first 30 pages, I was like, okay, what the frick's the point here? Okay, get to the point. Anyhow, that didn't even include the side deals, which gave them the almost $2 billion in cash and the $150 billion supposedly Iranian assets that had been held in escrow since 1979 that were then released back to Iran. So, what can I tell you, man? All I'm saying is I'm alerting you. Keep an eye on this. Trump, at right about the same time, and then after Netanyahu finished his speech, he was giving a live press conference with the president of Nigeria, and he was asked about Netanyahu's presentation, which obviously Trump couldn't see because he was doing his press conference, but he did say, Trump said, he was right all along. This confirms that Trump was right all along in terms of, well, kind of implying that he knew the Iranians were cheating, but that's not what Trump has been saying. Trump has been saying that the deal was a bad deal, okay? It was a bad deal. That's what I've been getting from Trump. And it's true, the deal is probably a bad deal. The point is, with the progress that Trump administration has been making so far with North Korea, getting them to go from lobbing missiles over Japan, right, and threatening to nuke Guam, to coming to the Olympics in South Korea, and then making peace, what appears to be on the roads to making peace, and possibly a 10-year reunification agreement, you almost have to trust the plan, okay? Let's maybe trust the plan. I'm not too excited about what Trump might or might not do. I'm just saying we need to continue to put pressure on the right places, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube, to, again, just repeat the refrain. No more wars for Israel. There's no way I will support any more wars with Israel.
We've got questions.
Okay. What kind of question?
From Michael.
What's he saying?
Oh, tell you?
Yeah, give me the question.
Okay.
Got some questions.
Israel has nukes for sure. Did the U.S. give them nukes?
No, Israel did not give them nukes. What happened was they stole the technology. They through espionage. Just like the Rosenbergs, they were Jews who stole nuclear technology to give it to the Soviet Union. Other Israeli spies gave that information to the Israelis. So, no, the U.S. definitely did not give them. And like I said, during JFK's administration in the late 50s, early 60s, we knew that they had a nuclear program going on in the deserts of Israel or Palestine, whatever you want to call it. They had a nuclear, and they were working with the French. Now, if anybody gave them nuclear technology or parts of it, it could have been the French. The French were working with them to, I don't know, whatever. They had some secretive building, complex in the desert where they were working on this stuff. So that's who, if anybody gave them stuff, it could have been the French, or let's say helped them. And maybe the French were working in, to try to get the technology themselves, because obviously the UK has the bomb, France has the bomb, and France has an independent nuclear program, and obviously Israel we know has. So yeah, Israel has never admitted publicly that they have nukes. In fact, they've sort of denied it, or they've kind of half denied it, or they just don't comment on it, right? But it's pretty obvious that we know, at least we believe, that they have at least 300 nukes, and maybe even more, and they're using that as leverage against their potential enemies, right? So we understand that. But the point is, here is Netanyahu, talking about the Iranians, whereas he's not. He doesn't mention himself. What's he doing? So, any other questions?
No, I don't see any in the chat.
Okay, cool. So, listen, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to HJRR Rock and Roll. Reminding you to always make it happen for the captain, of course. And just keep an eye out for this crap, because hell no, we won't go. All right, till next time, take it easy. HolyJoe Rock and Roll.
You're listening to the HolyJoe Rock and Roll Show. It's not just rock and roll, it's HolyJoe Rock and Roll.
We know where you live, we know where you sleep. We're fully trained and we're on to the team. We saw you coming and we were ready. You can run, but you cannot hide. Cause we're coming for you now. You can run, but you cannot hide. Cause we're coming for you now. Deep state implosion overdrive.